My name is Marissa Garcia, and I will be doing my presentation on the Netflix original, Master of None. This plotline really spoke to me because I feel that as society progresses and moves further from the traditional and stereotypical values of the past, millennials and future generations are trying to find ways to live their lives while still trying to uphold the values they were raised with as children. In this episode, we see Dev struggle with trying to find a balance between who he is and who his parents want him to be. Religion and culture are the two base foundations for who we are as people, so to watch Dev struggle through that isn't a story that was lost on me. To start, the Islamic faith is a monotheistic religion founded by the Prophet Muhammad. The Muslim faith regards their God Allah as a transcendent being. They believe that Allah is incomparable. Their major texts are encompassed in the Quran, which is an oral revelation bestowed upon Muhammad by the angel Gabriel. Their major pillars of the Islamic faith are creed, prayer, charity, fasting, and pilgrimage. Today, Islam is the second largest and fastest growing religion. The industrial period helped to modernize many of the Muslim people. According to Wikipedia, it is estimated that by 2050, the number of Muslims will nearly equal the number of Christians around the world. Religion was directed by Alan Yang, written by Aziz Ansari and Alan Yang. It was released May 12, 2017 on Netflix. The series Master of None follows Dev as he navigates his life in New York City and works his way through some of life's biggest challenges and through everyday scenarios. Some of the storylines are loosely biographical, taken from Aziz Ansari's life. The episode and series takes place in New York City, which is seen as one of the hippest and most progressive cities in the country and even the world. The episode opens with Dev as a child at a friend's house, presumably after a sleepover. He is at the breakfast table being presented a plate of bacon when he simply asks, "What is it?" His friend's mom responds, "It's bacon." After he takes a bite, Dev's mother, Nisha, calls him, asking him when he's coming home. He happily informs her that he's eating bacon, to which Nisha responds, "Dev, bacon is pork. We are not allowed to eat pork. That is our religion." Later, we see adult Dev talking to his friend Denise about his struggles. Having grown up as a first-generation American, he has lost his connection to his Muslim faith. He no longer prays or attends worship unless he must. He currently and frequently indulges in pork. Later in the episode, his parents inform him that Dev's very conservative and religious aunt and uncle are in town with his cousin, and that they are to have dinner with him. Dev is forced to put on a front as though he is a diligent and pious Muslim. As we follow Dev through the episode, we see him struggle with the idea of telling his parents about his true feelings. There is a recurring theme tying together religion and identity. He thinks about telling his parents about his torrid love affair with pork, or that he doesn't pray, but he knows that by doing this, he risks his parents being upset and disappointed in him. After his aunt, uncle, and cousin arrive, Dev takes his younger cousin Naveed to a barbecue festival. Naveed and Dev confide in each other about the facades they put on to make their parents happy. The episode crescendos at the dinner scene with Dev and his family. He admits to them his true habits and true feelings by ordering a pork-based dish, ultimately embarrassing his parents at dinner. His parents react unfavorably and leave. We later watch as Dev's father comes to his apartment to talk to him about the events that transpired. His father explains to him that they know that Dev is an adult and that he will do as he pleases. However, when he chooses to dismiss his parents' teachings and faith in front of them, it hurts their feelings. Dev and his parents reach an understanding in which he learns that though he may no longer partake in many Muslim practices, he must still respect them, at least for his parents' sake. This episode of Master of None is a great view into what almost any faith could be like today. The younger generation struggle to find the balance between living a modern life and living a life in faith. Master of None used the Muslim haram of abstaining from pork for its plot device. In the Quran it states, "He has only forbidden you what dies of itself, and blood, and flesh of swine, and that over which any other name other than Allah has been invoked." In a lot of today's media, the people of the Muslim faith are portrayed so awfully. I would argue that they are most often portrayed as terrorists. When we began the semester and I learned about this project, I knew that this episode would be a perfect choice to show, at the end of the day, the people of the Muslim faith are just as relatable as those of a Christian or Jewish faith. As a young person who has struggled with their religion, it was refreshing to see a story where they don't find Jesus or denounce religion altogether. Instead, he and his parents just make peace with the fact that at this point, Dev is okay with not being a devout Muslim. For his parents, their religion is a very strong part of their identity. I feel that this episode has positively and neutrally portrayed the Islamic faith. It was a very honest episode, and I think the writers really wanted to portray the Islamic faith as relatable. They succeeded to show them for what they are, just everyday people who struggle with the same issues as every other religion.